Hey, what's going on everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends, and in today's video, I want to talk about Arena. I'm not sure if this is something that I've talked extensively here on the channel yet, but for especially new players, I want to give a bit of suggestion and guides as to how to build a proper Arena team. I know it is challenging to climb up, whether it's in Classic Arena or Tag Arena especially. It can be a bit challenging, but I'm hoping that the things in this video is going to help you guys prepare a little bit more and get a better understanding of what things to look out for. And if you find the information in this video helpful, you could do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for all videos Raid Shadow Legends here on the Boilon channel. And before we get started, I do want to mention that if you haven't started playing yet, or if you want to start a brand new account, now is the best time to do so, because if you finish the tutorial, you'll get a legendary, a Lenoral, and then you get an epic Rector Drath and an epic Ugo at account level 15 and 30. And that's not all, because you can still get yourself a legendary Supreme Gallic by putting in the promo code Supreme6 on a brand new account as well. So a really great time to start playing Raid Shadow Legends. Now, I want to kind of go into my arena and kind of share with you guys my team. Now, granted, I'm about 2.5 months in. I've also got some lucky pulls on this. We're going to be focusing on Classic Arena and Tag Arena. I'm not going to be focusing really that much on Live Arena, which is more a later kind of stuff. I've done a little bit on this, but it is quite challenging from time to time. I want to start with Classic Arena. So in about, again, 2.5 months, it really about 2 months, maybe less, I was able to climb my way up to Gold 5, which is pretty much as far as you're going to be able to get in Classic Arena. I've tried, like, I'm just not getting into, like, it's the last tier. I'm not getting into Platinum. So is it Platinum or whatever they call it anyways? So you can climb yourself all the way from the bottom all the way up, because this is really important, right? These tokens are used for Great Hall bonuses, which are significantly important for the Arbiter missions and just in general improving the stats of your characters. I've done a video on the Great Hall as well and how it pertains to Arbiter and making sure that you don't make those mistakes. So check back on my channel if you're interested and you want to know more about that one. But I'm going to go into my defense here. Now, I know, take this with a grain of salt a little bit, because not everyone has a mythical, so we can disregard that. But what I want to point out here is I'm going to move my cam box. So I'm going to get rid of this so that you guys can see here on the bottom. It's really important that you guys have an arena speed lead, or at least a speed lead in general. We're going to talk about the nuances of the characters, but as far as the role goes here in this main primary slot, you want to make sure that you choose someone that ideally increases ally speed in arena battles. Typically, this could come in a variety of forms. Now, I got lucky with Estrid Dream Song. This was a legendary that I pulled maybe about a couple of weeks ago. Maybe about 2 weeks ago now, actually. But there are other characters that you could fill that role in as... okay, I'm afraid of, like, removing that. But... where am I? I'm looking for... some players might have started their promo codes, because this was a little while ago that I was recommending Wukong, right? So if you put him in the lead, he's going to give a 28% speed aura in arena as well. So being able to maximize your speed in arena battles is going to be very important. Now, if you don't have any of this, there is a free-to-play option in the form of Hai Katun, if I can find her over here. So she is a 19% in all battles. It's not 28 or 30 that you would actually get from using the Arbiter, but this is still probably the best that you're going to get free to play after 30 days. So if you have to do that, that is perfectly fine too. Because Hai Katun also fills another role that I want to mention here as well, is that you need a really fast character that can fill speed bar. It's very important. Now, this can be through a couple of ways, depending on what characters that you want to use. Again, you could use Hai Katun, because everyone is going to get her free to play after 30-day login. It's 30-day first champion that they give away after 30 days. So really it comes down to the kit portion, right? A variety of characters have this kind of ability. The Rally the Hordes, fill turn meter by 15%, and then increase speed on all allies for 2 turns. This is really important to make sure that these characters, or these types of characters, are the first ones to go, because they're the ones that are going to be pushing up everybody else to take their action. So what that means is trying to get these types of characters, this role, this one type of character, the fastest that they possibly can. The other stats honestly don't matter that much, It will matter if you're using them in other areas of PvE, but as far as PvP goes, you literally want to max out their speed. Now, I originally had a lot higher than this. If you want to be quote unquote competitive in arena, typically you're looking for something like, I don't know, like I'm spitballing here. So I'm gonna show you my Estra Dream Song, and I don't even go 100% of the time either. But I'm at 280 speed. This is pretty good, but you really want to maximize your speed in a lot of different ways. That's either going to be through using the speed artifact set, the perception artifact set, or just having really amazing rolls, substat rolls on your gear, right? So you can see here I have one speed stat roll, two speed rolls, three speed rolls on my shield, and almost every gear piece has speed except for the boots, because there is a main stat speed, which is also really important. I could have bumped this up if I had a 6-star speed boots, but I don't really have very many of those. Other places you can get speed is through pinpoint accessories, which you get from time to time. It was more abundant during the Alice event dungeon, but you can also get it on your banner as well. So those are places that you can get additional speed, and I've managed to get my speed up to 280. This gear used to originally be on High Katoon, because before I had Estra Dream Song, High Katoon was my main speed character, because she has a very similar kit to High Katoon here, but it's turn meter by 15%, same as High Katoon. Also increases speed, same. But now she doesn't increase attack buff, so she's kind of doing what High Katoon does, just a little bit better, and that's kind of filling that role for me there too. And she also decreases turn meter from enemies. She literally does this and then goes into the A2, which decreases turn meter as well. So that's one of the most important roles in Arena. Going first is super duper important. Now, the second most important role, in my opinion, is going to be your nuker. And that's going to be, for me, that's Alice. I call it the spin to win. If you use Alice lately, then you know that Clockwork Cyclone does a crap ton of damage. And so that is basically my carry for the most part when it comes to Arena. If Estrid goes first, then she pumps up Alice, and then usually that's enough for her to go, does her AoE, and usually that'll win me the match. Not always, but usually. And actually, so that means that in your second position, that you're going to want to have a very strong AoE damage dealer. For me, it's Alice. It could be somebody else for you, depending. Everyone's roster looks a little bit different, but that's the role that you're going to want to have. You're going to want to maximize their damage, probably ignore defense as well. Having a nice Savage set would be helpful. Getting that attack up, making sure the crit's up to 100%, and maximize, all the usual like glass cannon damage dealer stuff. That's the kind of stuff that you're looking for. So for Alice, you do need a little bit more. I'm actually surprised I managed to get to 320. Like, that accuracy is pretty high. I'm surprised I managed to get that high. So that's pretty much what I use with those two slots, is that you get the speed carry, you get the nuker or AoE damage dealer. That's really important. I want to talk about the other role that I'm using, and that's Ugo. And now this is because my roster is not huge. But this third role is going to be typically your debuffer. It could be a buffer as well. That's going to make things a little bit easier. This can come in a variety of different ways. For me, it's applying the decreased defense buff before Alice does her AoE. So the turn order for me is Estrid, Ugo, and then Alice afterwards. So Ugo kind of like lines it up for that AoE to hit really hard. So the decreased defense on top of the increased attack with Alice is going to do massive damage with my AoE. Really increases things, and if things carry on after that, it does make things a little bit easier with the debuff that they do. So again, that third slot is going to be probably somebody that you could get a little bit faster than your main damage dealer. You need to speed tune this a little bit, because if you notice that my Ugo is about 231 speed, and my Alice is actually, I could probably use a little bit more speed on Alice. I've been sacrificing it for other stuff. It's not that fast, so as far as that goes, but having her a little bit behind Ugo, but still probably about 15 to 20 speed higher, if I could get that, would be great. And then if that fails, I've been using my Mythic, so my this is not for everyone, but of course my Mythic does place active block active skills debuff AoE as well. So if crap hits the fan and it's still not over, then this is an option for me. What you could do with that, it depends. Like, you could use a more support defensive type of character. You could use a tank as well, depending on what you have available to you, in case that lining that up does not kill everyone on the field, and it actually goes beyond one turn. I find a lot of arena matches are kind of made or broken by that first turn, and I'm wanting to see if I can actually show you a match that I can win. You can see here that with a lot of these gold 5 teams as well, that you're seeing a lot of, you're right, you have your speed lead, you have your turn meter character is going to be Arbiter in this case. Sometimes you get a tank as well, right? I hate Ultimate Death Knight, by the way. It's kind of the worst character there. Now, and Armands, do not fall for some of these traps. These are like the one character traps who could solo your team. This happens a lot too, and Armands is definitely one of those characters. So if you find him in arena, I would probably avoid those kinds of things. I don't know, I'm probably going to lose some of these because honestly, except for this one, which I should be able to beat, but then that's no brainer. I want to see whether or not this is actually going to work. Let's try this one because it's a lower team power. So I'm just curious because I'm at 247. So I'm curious if I would actually beat their Arbiter in the speed lead. We have the same aura at 28%, but I want to see whether or not I'm actually going to go first and if that's going to go as I would think. And I am. So my Astrid actually went first. We'll see whether or not I have the damage to actually get through this. So we get the attack up there with the speed up. Everyone gets pushed up. But you can see actually my Alice is now still lower turn bar than their Arbiter. So there's a chance that this might not go the way that we want. Actually, we might have knocked back. Alice still might go. Get Ugo with the defense down. So you can see everyone's debuffed here at this point. Okay, I didn't know that my Commodus is actually faster. That's fine. We're going to put the active debuffs down. So all the debuffs are already there. Unfortunately, we got that cleanse there. But now we have, let's see, can we kill Arbiter? Even defense, there's shields and strengthen, so maybe not. No, it didn't do enough damage. It's not entirely over. I hate Wukong. We need to get Arbiter down because she's gonna revive. Now at this point, it's a bit of a, this is my plan B, right? So if Alice didn't actually kill them all, then Commodus probably will. So there you go. We got Arbiter down, and at this point, I would probably be able to auto it. I hate Ultimate Death Knight, especially Ultimate Death Knight with a stone skin. I'm pretty sure if stupid Wukong, I wasn't even thinking about that. Maybe I shouldn't have autoed. I'm hoping that I can still get this, but I hate Mithrala. Mithrala with a passion is just awful. She is such an amazing character, which I don't have you get from Hydra. And so the problem is now Wukong is gonna like wreck my. It's possible I could still lose this actually, and I got feared. So yeah, you know what? Didn't go as planned. Ultimate Death Knight. I'm gonna blame this all on Ultimate Death Knight. He's an amazing tank if you do get your hands on him. So normally that is how things would run for me. Didn't go so hot that time. But usually it's that first turn that kind of makes or breaks it. If they didn't have a really solid support tank, and that's what I would consider, right? If you in this 4th slot where I have my mythical character, that would be a very good position for you to add a defensive character to kind of increase things or make things a little bit easier. If you have somebody that could do ally protection, if you have strengthen, if you have some way to eat damage from your other characters, that would be great as well. And then hope that the other 3 kind of basically carry your offensive needs. And so that's what I would do there. Now, along the same lines, we're going to touch on this a little bit here with Tag Arena because Tag Arena is a bit of a pain as well. I'm not a big fan of it. It's very hard to climb, especially if you're a newer player. But the one thing that I do want to point out is basically how to set up a team, right? So you're going to have 3 teams instead of 1. But what I said about the auras for arena characters are going to be very important. Now, this is not going to be everyone, right? So for me, I only have 2 good teams, and I've only built 2 good teams. My middle team here is pretty trash. What I would do, ideally over time, right, is make sure that I have a speed lead that's arena based, or High Katoon maybe, that's in all 3 of the teams. So I have Estrid here, I have Wukong here, and then I don't really care about this team, but if I was trying to build a proper 3rd team, I would move High Katoon into the leader slot there. So I would have the speed lead in every single team. I have other characters that fill the speed meter, the turn meter role. I have Apothecary is a very good character, by the way, if you need someone that's not High Katoon. So Apothecary, High Katoon, these are kind of easier to get earlier new player characters. And then anyone that kind of fills that role later on, Arbiter, my legendary here can do that. You want to make sure that you have 1 in every team. Again, you're taking the same philosophy as Classic Arena, and you're just doing that 3 times, really, unfortunately. And that's not something that you're going to be able to do easy in the early game, but that's something that over time, by thinking about your proper arena setup is going to be really important. So basically just replicating Classic Arena 3 times the best that you can with the rules that I mentioned will help you in the long term. So don't worry about things if you're not able to climb too much. If you refresh enough, you will actually find teams like teams like this that have like singular characters that you can actually beat low power, because there are players who just want to drop down because they're too high. I'm pretty sure there might also be bots lying around that also, more so probably in live arena, but regardless, that you're going to find some of these that you could easily go in here. You know, it's a no-brainer really for them. I really hope I don't die randomly from a level 37, but again, something that you're going to get some free wins out of, and it won't be very hard to do. So my personal advice is just to refresh as much as you possibly can on Classic Arena. But from time to time, I do take on real teams, and that's the setup that I would employ. So I hope that some of the information in this video is helpful to help you get some more arena wins, whether it's in Classic Arena or whether it's in Tag Arena. That's going to be the end of my video. But before we go, I do want to mention once again that if you haven't started an account yet, now is the best time to do so to get these 3 champions absolutely free by account level 30. And of course, if you have not done so already, input the code Supreme6 to get yourself a Supreme Gallic legendary, completely free. That's a bunch of free champions coming your way. So that's going to be the end of this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.